Welcome back, everybody. It's Frank and Drew with Frank and Drew Reviews.
And today we're going to talk about, well, you may have guessed it already, Milwaukee tools. So we had hinted in a previous episode that we were kind of Milwaukee fanboys. And so today we're going to discuss why we chose Milwaukee, our first tool, and then our top 2 or 3 favorite tools that we have. So stay tuned.
So, Drew, what was the reason you got into Milwaukee tools?
Well, I work for a steel fabrication erection company, and we beat the crap out of our tools. So after we had first got the back when the first red lithium batteries came out, we got a bunch of the drill driver, the OG fuel sets, and we gave one to all of our field guys. We had a couple in the shop, like the machine shop had a set. A couple of guys in our miscellaneous shop had a set. And we probably had them for 3 years, and they've just been abused, work hard, and put away wet, and they just worked still. So after seeing that, I was like, well, I am not going to do it nearly the destruction that they see on a daily basis at work. So I was like, they'll definitely do what I need to do at home. So that's the reason I just like, these guys are really doing it. And I mean, yeah, that was good enough reason for me.
Sure, yeah. I'm in kind of a similar boat. Like, the big reason for me is whenever I was on a job site doing electrical panel work, every electrician had these. So, like, if I brought a battery, if I had a drill and I was drilling a hole and my battery died, I could walk over to Joe Schmo and be like, hey, can I use your charger real quick? And everybody was super friendly. Probably the first Milwaukee tool I used in the field that was battery powered was a portaband. And it absolutely changed my life. I'm like, why don't I own one of these? I still don't, to be fair, but there's reasons for that. Mainly that they're expensive and I'm cheap. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, they just work. Every electrician I run into in the field has them. They're super handy. The big reason for M12 stuff, specifically this little guy, is because everybody on YouTube has one and they all love it. And then I was like, okay, I'll try it. I'll buy one. And I use it way more than I ever expected. It just works. They're great. So
yeah. So what was the first tool you got?
This big boy. I needed to... Basically, I made my own subframe bushings for my E46, and I machined them a little bit too long, and I needed to trim them while they were on the car. And I was like, I have a crappy, Sawzall, but I wanted a cordless one so that I could crawl under the car and do it. And it cut through them like butter, and I was like, sold. Done. That was it.
Awesome.
I think this was one of those deals where you buy the tool and you get a free battery, and that's exactly what I did. And I was like, I never looked back since. It just works.
Awesome.
What about you?
So my first tool was...
the filthy one.
This bad boy. Yeah, the one that's actually... dirty. So I was trying to do the rear brakes on my F10 535D, and where the caliper bracket is in the... the rear wheel well, I could not get anything longer than a 10-inch, half-inch ratchet on it, on the caliper bracket bolts, and I just could not budge them, period. So I was like, I got a breaker bar, but now it's too long. It's too long. It doesn't fit in the wheel well, yeah. So I'm like, what am I going to do? And then I think you had actually just gotten the big impact over there.
Yep.
And I was like, used that, I think, at my brother's house, and I was like blown away by the amount of power that had. So I wasn't sure if it would fit. So this is the first gen compact. So I think this thing was only like 250 foot-pounds of nut busting torque versus 1400. But hey, I bought that a couple days later off of Amazon. It showed up. I put it on there. Like, literally impact, boom, bolts right out. I'm like, this is amazing, because I couldn't budge it.
Yeah.
by hand, and this thing just right out. So I use this all the time, swapping from winter wheels to summer wheels, and it just makes my life better. So yeah, that's my first tool story. So is this still in your top 3 of your favorite tools?
Maybe not top 3, but I do use this a lot. Like whenever I'm fabricating stuff in the garage. Obviously, anytime I need to cut stuff. We used it for demo on your basement. I use it to cut stuff all the time. It's just so much faster than doing it, with a chop saw or cut-off wheel or anything like that. Since I got my mini lathe out in the garage, I use it to cut stock just to get it close enough so that I can actually put it in the tool. I find that this is actually easier for me than my 12-inch bandsaw at work. Just because it's so much more maneuverable, like 3-inch round aluminum, you cut half of it, you rotate it, you cut a little bit more, you rotate it, you cut a little bit more, and that's close enough. Works really nicely. Like it a lot.
Awesome. So what is your number 1 tool then?
I have 5. So there's a reason there's so many here. So the big boy is amazing for anything that's big. The only downside to it is that it's super heavy. I think that's kind of why they have the compact, and now they've made 3 generations of it because it just works so much better. This is something that I never thought I would use. I bought this before I bought my big air compressor, and I use it to fill 30 tires probably by now. Like, it's just super handy. Like, anytime I load up the trailer, need to fill up the tires in the trailer, stuff like that. Just not having to carry a hose around, genius. Awesome. Only downside to this is that it eats batteries. So this came with the XE4, and if I'm filling up like truck tires or trailer tires, it will go through that entire battery doing probably 4. So yeah, that's kind of rough. But this, I think, is the newest one I got. I was making speaker boxes, and I could not believe how well that works, because I've only used cheap, shitty jigsaws, and that just blows my mind. Got this for Christmas. I like it, but I think it's overrated. It's a little expensive for what it is. Doesn't work as well as I expected for sanding.
And then why is that your top...
Because I think using it for gaskets, it would be mint.
That's a good point.
But I don't do a lot of that. So it's kind of... I think for the right application, this thing is amazing, but I just don't think I have that application. At least not right this second. And then this guy, your brother gifted me after we did suspension on his car, which was miserable. And I like that a lot more. That's grown on me. These 2 are obviously my top 2 because they're the filthiest, but I use that one a lot more.
It's a good test right there.
Mainly because of just the angle of the dangle. Like the fact that you hold this in your hand like this and you can do, I've done wheels with this in a pinch. It's got some torque.
Well, I think that's also 250 foot-pounds, right?
I think it is.
Yeah, which is the same, and that's obviously newer, so it's kind of amazing how they took
that big guy
and then shrunk it to that.
And with the M12 system, that's the crazy thing to me. I don't know if I could recommend the M12 system. I like it. I think it's really more catered to automotive use than anything else. And if that's what you're doing, then yeah, great, buy it. It's awesome. But if you already have the M18 system, I don't say that it makes sense to downgrade to the M12. The one nice thing I do like is the charger does both. I wish they would just always supply that same charger. I don't know why they don't, but it's the little things in life.
Fair.
So, what about you?
Well, I gotta say, I love this because it's small. It's not super heavy.
Yeah.
It works for 90% of what I run into.
Mm-hmm.
And once in a while, I'll hit a wheel that, after a rough winter or something like that, I can't, break it off with that. So I got to get the breaker bar out to loosen the lug nut. Mm-hmm. Which is why I actually got this bad boy, which is the same as Frank's.
Just newer and just shiny.
And this is what it looks like when
not
it's
filthy.
Not used yet. So I literally just got this. So my parents gave me this set, well, and my brother, for Christmas a couple years ago. And it's not the fuel, it's just the brushless. So it's kind of like the in between the brushed and the fuel stuff. Which fuel is like the newest, the best, and then you got your brush, which is the low end, cheaper. I mean, they're still really good tools. And then the brushless is the middle ground. And I have not done anything carpentry wise with these things that these things cannot handle.
Oh yeah.
I actually was breaking off 1/4-inch Tapcon screws with this, so I don't know where I will ever run into a situation where I'll need more power. But alas, another one that I really love that I neglected to bring today is the M18 blower, which we'll put a screenshot of that up here, maybe like now.
Sure.
Yeah. So that thing, I got it with an 8 amp hour battery, and I can blow the leaves off my front yard with one battery, swap batteries, go do my backyard with the other battery, and it's great. You're not making a ton of noise where you're annoying all your neighbors, like my neighbor does sometimes with their backpack steals situation. And it's light, it's maneuverable, it's great. And same thing, I got the quick lock trimmer with the pole saw, the edger, the hedge trimmer. Again, 8 amp hour battery. I can do all the trimming around my house. Switch to the hedge trimmer, do the bushes, whatever. I can do everything I need to do for a weekend, just kind of cleaning up the yard work on one battery. And no issues throughout the first season. We'll see how the second season this spring goes. I mean, one other thing I really like too, the way Milwaukee packages their bit system, which I think is similar to everybody else, but
I like it better. Like the fact that things fold out and stuff, like that just works.
We'll do that over here.
That just works so much better. You know, it's such a simple thing. Your cases don't seem to have it. Maybe the big one does. But the one that I have in the garage, it actually has a threaded hole.
The Core 20? Yeah. So these still will, if you stack
together,
they will lock together. So, I mean,
you can shake them apart.
But I mean, it's nice. They stack nice. And same thing, like if I'm working, just taking like the plastic panels off the bottom of your car, I got a 3/8 adapter and put a socket on one of these guys. It's so small, just go up underneath there. NASCAR pit stop status, and makes it improves the quality of life. Really,
it does. At the end of the day, the thing I like about the little impacts, both that one and the one that I've got, the M12 version, is when you're taking off plastic inner fenders or things underneath the car, you just chuck in whatever size weird bit you need. Star, Torx, whatever. And it either comes right out or it snaps off and it's not your problem anymore.
Well, it's future you problem.
It's future you problem. And I mean, on the Fiero and the Mark II, we don't have any of those plastic panels anymore because I don't need them. Added lightness.
Yes.
But it just works. It's great. I love them. So
yeah. If you guys are not Milwaukee fanboys, put down in the comments below what tool brands you use, and then also let us know what are your favorite tools, and give us a little description of why.
Yeah,
be great. Also, so to sum up our last episode about car features that we liked and missed, we actually had a couple of comments, and the floor dimmer switch. I think that's interesting. Because I just not ever experiencing that. Like even my 69 Volvo had a dimmer switch on the column, same as your turn signal. I don't know if I'd ever have my foot connected to my brain to move the high beam to low beam, but I think that's an interesting thing. I know my parents talked about it.
Oh yeah.
I remember them talking about it like when I was younger that they
Yep.
they did miss that. So that's an interesting one that I didn't think of.
Totally missed.
Yeah. So good call on that one. And so we appreciate the comments. Comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you on the next one.